Okay, so we're on page 21, right? Is that what we just said?
Yeah.
Okay, 21, I want you to write this at the top. Combining that was, I don't even know what to think of that. Okay, combining and evaluating functions. Okay, and let's write at the top here. When you, quiet. When you add or subtract functions, be sure to combine like terms. So for example, this is our example number 1. Say we have x equals x minus 3 and equals 3x squared minus x. And we are going to find out what g of x plus h of x is. So all we really need to do is to know g of x is this x minus 3, h of x is 3x squared minus x. So when we add them, then we just need to add all of our like terms. So g of x plus h of x will equal x minus 3 plus 3x squared minus x. Why are we talking? Don't be talking, please. So we have x minus 3 is this function, plus the other function is 3x squared minus x. So our like terms, do we have another 3x squared? Or an x squared, sorry. Nope. So we're just going to write 3x squared. Then we have x minus x. We'll zero out. And then we'll just have the minus 3 left over. So 3x squared minus 3 would be the answer when we add these two functions, okay? Easy enough? Questions so far? Okay, let's do a subtraction. So let's do g of n equals negative 3n minus 1, because it's a function. That's why we have to put that down. And f of n equals n squared minus n. And we are going to find f of n minus g of n. So when you are subtracting, you really want to make sure you put the correct thing first, right? So which function do I need to write first? Okay, so I'm going to write n squared minus n. That is f of n. And then I'm subtracting a quantity. So if I'm subtracting a quantity, what should we do, put around that quantity? Yep, so we're going to subtract this other function, which is negative 3n minus 1. And then we are going to combine like terms, or we should just distribute the negative. Should we do that first? Let's do that first. So we have n squared minus n plus 3n plus 1. Because we're subtracting a negative here and we're subtracting a negative here. So that will really be plus 3 and plus 1, right? Okay. And then we don't have any other squared terms, so it'll just be our 1n squared. Then we have a negative n plus 3n. Gives us plus 2n. And then we have just the plus 1 left. Right? questions? Okay, now let's do a multiplication one. So example number 3. Oh, and there's another way to write, like, sometimes you'll see it like this, f times g of x, like that. Or you'll see it this way, f of x times g of x. These two mean the same thing, okay? All it is asking you to do is to what? Multiply them, right? Okay, so how many of you were in Mrs. Blake's class here? Okay, so I think she had a name for when you multiplied stuff. Did she call it Zach or Fred? It was Zach. Okay, so you can do it that way. However you multiply expressions and you organize the terms is totally up to you, okay? So if you remember, if you had her last year and you remember her way and that made sense, use it. Okay, I'm going to show you the way that I like to teach kids. So this is 2 terms, right? And this is 2 terms, and just like factoring, except it's the opposite. Go x squared minus 4 on the outside times the other 2 terms of 3x plus 5. Okay? I can show you that after this, okay? So then it's just like factoring, except obviously the opposite, because multiplication is opposite of factoring. So x squared times 3x will be 3x to the 3rd power. I just wrote 3x plus 5 out of this function times x squared minus 4, and I multiplied these, right? 3x times x squared is 3x cubed. What's 3x times negative 4? Negative 12x. Then x squared times 5. 5x squared, and 5 times negative 4 is negative 20. Do we have any like terms? No. So if you don't have any like terms, it makes it easy. Just make sure you write it in the correct order, okay? So we're going to start with the highest exponent. So 3x cubed. Then what's our next term? Plus 5x squared. Then negative 12x, and then the constant of negative 20. And no like terms, you don't need to add or subtract any of them together. Okay? Do you want me to show you Heaven? I think what she did is she did 3x times x squared minus 4. Then she did 5 times x squared minus 4. Do you remember that? And then you line up your like terms. Okay. Either way, I really don't care. I just wanted to show you guys both, okay? All right, let's do one more. Then we'll be done. It's not division. It's actually the evaluating. So g of x equals 3x squared plus 3x. And h of x equals 3x plus 2. And we are going to find g minus h of negative 6. Gosh, I really hot all of a sudden. Are you guys hot? Hey. No, this is not complicated. Because, look, all you have to do on this one is, let me speak, please, is instead of leaving x, you plug in a value for x. That's what this means. This means subtract the 2 functions and plug in negative 6 for x. That's what it's saying to do. Okay? So let's plug in negative 6 into each of the functions. So g of negative 6 is just going to be 3 times negative 6 squared plus 3 times negative 6, right? I just plugged in negative 6 into g of x, right? Then make sure if you plug this into your calculator, make sure you put parentheses around the negative 6, okay? So this will be 3 times 36, what, 108? right? 108 minus 18. So that'll be 90. And then, question? We good? Okay. Then I'm going to plug in, what's that? Yeah, negative 6 squared is 36 times 3 is 108, and then minus the 18. Okay. Then we're going to plug in negative 6 into the h of x. So I'm going to go 3 times negative 6 plus 2. So what is negative 18 plus 2? Negative 16. So now I plug in negative 6 into each of the functions. What operation do I need to do? Subtract. Which one do I need to subtract first? Good. So we're going to go g minus h will be g is 90 minus, what is h? A negative 16. So what is 90 minus the negative 16? It's going to be really adding, so it'll be 106. So on those that have a number instead of the variable, you plug it into each function, then you do whatever this operation is asking you to do with those two numbers. Easy enough, right? Okay, let's do another one on our assignment.
Hey.
Would you like to do another, hey, listen up please. Would you like to do another evaluating function problem? Let's do number 11. Okay, so what is number 11 asking us to find out? F minus g and, not times the negative n. Yeah, we're plugging in negative 9 in for n, right? So let's plug in negative 9 in for n into both of them. So I have f of negative 9 equals negative 9 squared. Notice I put parentheses around it. Plus 1 plus 2 times negative 9. So that'll be what? 81 plus 1 minus 18. So 82 minus 18. That's 64. I think it is. Huh? No, I did it right here. I plugged it in. Plus 2 times negative 9. And that's where I got the negative 18. Okay? Then we're going to plug in negative 9 into g of x, or g of n, sorry. So we get 4 times negative 9 plus 4, which is negative 36 plus 4. So what is g of negative 9? What is that value? Everybody? Negative 32. So now that we've plugged in negative 9 into each of the functions, now we need to subtract them in the correct order. I don't want to do all this work and just mess up on the very last step. So it's f minus g. So we're going to go 64 minus a negative 32, right? So that will be 96. Good. Questions? All right. Answers are on the back for you to check after you solve them. Okay, and the rest of the time is yours to work on this.